What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and happy Halloween. And just like last Halloween, it's time to rank the Halloween franchise, except this year we got 3 more movies to add to the ranking. Both Rob Zombie movies, which I just reviewed. Check those out if you haven't already, as well as the brand new Halloween Ends. And if you saw my reviews on that movie, you may be concerned right now that it could come in dead last. And I had to think really hard about how to do this ranking and where everything was going to go. Because truth be told, I don't love the Rob Zombie movies, but after just watching them, I have a pretty good feeling on how I feel about those movies as compared to the new David Gordon Green movies. And where to put all these movies, it's very tough. Things that I don't like about them are different. Things I do like are different. There are so many conflicting feelings and emotions over this crazy franchise. Used to be so simple when I was a kid. We only had the one main timeline other than Halloween 3. But now it's just all over the place. But I'm going to go for it. So here we go. Starting with the 13th movie, my least favorite in the franchise, and all you Halloween Ends fans are like, oh my God, is it going to be Halloween Ends? I got good news for you. No. Halloween Resurrection remains the most bullshit, most insulting piece of shit Halloween movie of all time. As bad as some of these movies are, Halloween Resurrection is the one movie that absolutely destroyed a perfect ending to the franchise in Halloween H2O and just slaps the face of all Halloween fans by killing off Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode right at the beginning so they can do their own thing. And is their own thing interesting at all? A typical 90s horror movie with a bunch of 20-year-old kids, and Michael Myers is made out to be a punk-ass bitch by Busta Rhymes. Some of the worst dialogue. The scene where the girl has the saw or whatever, it's like, this is for Jamie, this is for Alan, this is for everybody. What was that? This movie straight up sucks. I cannot find any redeeming qualities in Halloween Resurrection. Absolute garbage. And it is my least favorite Halloween movie still. Which brings us to number 12, and that's not an easy decision. I am back and forth between 12 and 11 trying to figure out which I like least, and it is really, really hard. But I'm going to put at number 12. Sorry, Halloween Ends. A lot of people defend this movie, and there are some good things about it. There are some very interesting ideas in this movie. It's not just that it's a terrible sequel. I mean, I think most people agree. Still not everybody, but I think most people at least agree that this is a god-awful finish follow-up to Halloween Kills. And as a wrap-up to the final film, what they were pushing in the trailers, they were clearly and 100% misleading everybody because they knew that nobody was trying to watch no Corey Cunningham movie. And it's not just that. It's the fact that I don't even think they did that very well. And the fact that they're trying to do 2 things at once. They want to do their own thing so bad and use this new concept and make this movie about him. They want to make this anthology movie that really has not a whole lot to do with Michael Myers and the Halloween franchise, and that's fine. But this ain't the time. But the problem is, even if they went full for that and gave us a movie that's like, what the hell was that? Okay, it was a decent movie, but it had nothing to do with Halloween. If they did that, that's one thing, but they didn't. They still had to cram in the Laurie Strode versus Michael Myers at the end, shove that in there, and it made no sense. You kill off the Corey Cunningham character before he has any chance to have any kind of redemption story or anything like that. The kid just dies evil, and it makes no sense. If I can't have her, no one can. Bitch, now anyone can have her. Also, I never thought a movie could make Michael Myers look more like a little sissy than Resurrection. Congratulations, Ends, you did it. You did it. He literally got his ass kicked by a nerd who gets bullied by a marching band and a old 60-something-year-old lady. I get it, Laurie Strode and him were going to go head-to-head and everything. It wasn't going to be an even match. They were going to have to write something in there to make it make sense that Laurie defeats him. They didn't. She just straight up manhandles him and takes him down and staples him to the table and throws the refrigerator on top of her. What the hell is Arnold Schwarzenegger in here is just tearing Michael Myers up, okay? It made 0 sense, and Michael Myers is an absolute punk in this movie. He's basically non-existent. And the movie, I don't think it's a good movie in any way, shape, or form. I think there's good ideas, but I do not think it's a good movie at all. I think it's pretty damn terrible. If they had committed one way or the other, it would have been way higher on this list. Even if they committed fully to the Corey Cunningham character, gave him a redemption arc at the end and made it a decent movie, I'd sit here like, look, it's a terrible sequel, but at least the movie was pretty good. I don't even think that they succeeded in that because they still had to shove in at least Halloween 3 committed to that. We're doing something different. You don't like it? Get the fuck out. I'll go on a rant and talk about Halloween Ends for the next hour if I don't stop now. Halloween Ends comes in at number 12. And up next is the one that I was considering putting lower because, truth be told, it's painful to watch. Halloween Kills, and it comes in at number 11. Sorry again. The kills are great. Michael Myers kicks ass in this movie, but this movie has the worst script and dialogue in the franchise. It's hard to listen to, and character motivations and characters doing the dumbest things. You push this idea so hard. Michael Myers is dying. Evil dies tonight. Evil dies tonight. They say 8 million times. And then, anytime they have a chance to take Michael Myers off, oh, hit him on the shoulder. Oh, we gotta be careful. Can't kill him off because it's a horror movie and the movie's gotta keep going. And it's so blatantly obvious. It's so bad. There are so many chances to hurt him bad or take him out. He survives everything and then just kills everyone. And by the end of this movie, Michael Myers is unstoppable. Of course, that gets flipped on its head in Halloween Ends, and he's just an old man who can barely move. I can kick his ass in Halloween Ends. But in Halloween Kills, he's much more intimidating, but and the kills are great, but the movie is just so dumb. It's just really hard to get through, and that's really the big problem with Halloween Kills. So much that doesn't make sense, and everyone talks in these extremely deep sentences that it's like nobody talks that way, and it's just constant throughout. The dialogue, the script is god-awful, and I can't stand Halloween Kills, and it comes in at number 11. And that brings us to number 10, Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Halloween 6 is a movie I hated the first time I saw it. Thought it would probably be my least favorite forever, but congratulations to the 3 I just mentioned, which are even worse. And on rewatch, every time I rewatch Curse, I find things I enjoy about it a little bit more. It's got some pretty awesome kills. The mask is pretty awesome. Michael Myers is awesome. He's freaking brutal in this movie, but you killed off one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character in the entire franchise, and recast her. I didn't know why at the time I went to see this back in the 90s, but now I know why, because Danielle Harris has made it clear that they didn't want to pay her garbage. They didn't want to pay her shit. They wanted to pay her pennies, even though she got emancipated and worked really hard and paid a lot of money to be in this movie. They recast her and killed her off really quick. That pissed me off. I'm not against necessarily killing off a great character, but movies they like to do it right off the bat, and that's because the new directors and the new writers we want to do our own thing and we can't have that character in our way, but the character's still alive. We got to do something. Well, we'll just kill him off right away. And this movie has the insane weirdness, of course, explaining why Michael Myers is the way he is with the curse of the whole, we all know all about it, okay? That's why it's called the Thorn Trilogy, and that whole weirdness goes full out in Halloween 6. I'm not a fan of anyone telling Michael Myers what to do. I kind of get it, though. They had to go, it's the 6th movie, really the 5th Michael Myers movie, and they got to go somewhere, but they keep on putting out these sequels, and it's like the story's been told. What are we going to have to do? Michael Myers just shows up, kills a bunch of people every Halloween. It starts to get stupid, and that's what happened here in Halloween 6, but like I said, there's some things to like about it, but overall, not a very good movie. And it really pissed me off on how they treated Jamie Lloyd and Danielle Harris. Which brings us to number 9. Higher than a lot of people have it, but it's Halloween 5. I've always found enjoyment in Halloween 5, but I was a child at the time. Loved Jamie Lloyd in Halloween 4, and I thought she was awesome, kick-ass in this movie too. A lot of stuff doesn't make sense in Halloween 5. The mask is terrible. And yeah, there's not it's one of the more boring Halloween movies, if I'm just being honest, but I always find enjoyment in it. It does have some awesome climactic scenes towards the end involving Jamie Lloyd, and I love the new look that they give her with some of the makeup and everything that she's wearing. Obviously, the clown outfit was absolutely iconic in Halloween 4, but here, I think that she's got a great look as well. And I think that even Dr. Loomis, I know a lot of people think they don't like him in Halloween 5, but I think it kind of makes sense at this point. He's losing it. At this point, he's kind of losing his mind, and he's still after Michael Myers. The goal is still the same. He wants to get rid of Michael Myers. Jamie Lloyd's not really helping, so he's getting pissed. He's like, where is he, Jamie? He's going nuts. And I think it kind of makes sense at this point in the franchise. So as far as the new character, Tina, who everyone hates, so annoying and everything. Yeah, I mean, she's a little bit annoying. They also kill off Rachel, another early killing. Why even kill off Rachel? I don't know. She's coming back. The actress is there. I don't know. I guess they just, again, they wanted a fresh story with a fresh actress and a fresh character, and you get the very annoying Tina. I don't hate her as much as a lot of people do. I rather enjoy Tina, okay? I'm going to admit it. But all in all, this movie's not great, so Halloween 5 is coming in pretty low on the list. And now we have number 8, Halloween 2018. Good job, David Gordon Green. You actually made a movie that's not all the way towards the bottom of the list. It's kind of here in the middle somewhere. But Halloween 2018, I thought was a decent reboot, decent restart to the franchise, but so many dumb storylines too that don't make sense. The Sartain thing, that evil moment, I don't even remember what happened, but I know in the vehicle he just suddenly flips and then suddenly gets killed, and it was like, what was that? It was just really bizarre. But there's some kick-ass kills. I love some of the long shots when he comes in to Haddonfield on Halloween and does his thing. And okay, all in all, Jamie Lee Curtis is back, and we meet her granddaughter and everything. Jamie Lee Curtis is still kind of cuckoo, doesn't make a lot of sense. And I'll talk a little bit about that later because they did it so much better in another movie. But a lot of the dialogue wasn't that great here. It was the kind of the beginning of the noticing of David Gordon Green's dialogue. Like, it's not good, and it only gets worse from here, obviously, in kills, and it's not so great in ends either. So some of the, the jokes, the humor was all big thumbs down on the humor. And all in all, man, I mean, Halloween 2018, it's not that great. And this is the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. Bottom 6 Halloween movies on this list, I think are not great. Not great movies. And luckily, the top 7, as we get to number 7 from here on out, I think are all good, solid Halloween movies. But from 8, Halloween 18 down, not so much. Even though Halloween 5, as a kid, I loved Halloween 5. But I was a child. As I grow up now and I watch it, I see the flaws, but I still really enjoy it. 2018, saw the flaws from the beginning, but it's got enough good in it that I'm going to put it just above 5. Which brings us to number 7. And it's going to be Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I decided to put 2 a little bit lower than Rob Zombie's Halloween. As I think about it, I just think it's just a little too weird, a little too bizarre. They start to bring in the weirdness with the white horse and everything. And then you have Dr. Loomis. What was going on with Dr. Loomis in Halloween 2? It was just, he was a punk, asshole, greedy mother effer, and it just didn't make any sense. It did not match the character from Rob Zombie's Halloween. It doesn't necessarily have to match the character from the original trilogy because Rob Zombie's doing a retelling and a reimagining. But it didn't even match the Dr. Loomis from Halloween, from Rob Zombie's Halloween. So those are the 2 things that really pissed me off. And then you still got all the cussing and the nasty talk. And that makes it really hard to watch, despite some really cool stuff in this movie. Some really kick-ass stuff. We get to see Laurie Strode's reaction when she finds out that she's actually Michael Myers' sister. She's Angel Myers. We get to see that moment. And Danielle Harris kicks ass in this movie. She is absolutely awesome. And I think Brad Dourif is awesome in this movie. And there's just some awesome kills. I think that Michael Myers is brutal. He's crazy. He's amazing. He's just great. And there's some great shots in the movie too. So this is a movie that's got a lot of awesome stuff and a lot of bullshit in Halloween 2. But they're close, so I rank it higher than a lot of the movies that I've already talked about, which have more bullshit than awesome. Which brings us to number 6, just above Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, is Rob Zombie's Halloween. And these movies are very close. I slightly prefer the original Rob Zombie's Halloween, because I love the origin story with the kid. The clown mask is kick-ass. I enjoy the sessions in the middle with Dr. Loomis, who's actually Dr. Loomis in this movie. And then the final act, which you just have a kind of a retelling of the 1978 movie, but it's a little more Rob Zombified, a little more hardcore. And you get a solid Halloween movie Unfortunately, even this movie, though, has a lot of that Rob Zombie dialogue. In fact, it's even worse in this movie. But they don't seem to destroy any characters in this movie. Danielle Harris, you get to see Danielle Harris looking fresh and looking clean at the beginning. She hasn't been traumatized yet, and she looks amazing. She looks so much like Jamie Lloyd. It's just insane that even though she's grown up now, you can still see Jamie Lloyd in her face, and it just, I don't know, it just brings, puts me in the mood for a Halloween movie more so, just because she's in these. She really bumps up these Rob Zombie movies just for her being in the movies. But the movie itself, I find entertaining enough, despite having to deal with some of the, the dialogue and everything. And also in both movies, I don't think that Sheri Moon Zombie is a good actress. Just gonna throw that out there. But Rob Zombie's Halloween comes in at number 6. And now we get to the top 5, which is 5 movies I genuinely freaking love. 5 movies that genuinely kick freaking ass. And it starts at number 5 with Halloween H2O. And this movie should be higher, but they just did some stupid things to screw it up, including the masks. The mask debacle in this movie with the CGI mask and the masks changing. I mean, what are y'all doing? Y'all shooting the final film here. You pick a mask, you go with it. There should have never been a CGI mask. They should have just cut that little scene right there or whatever. That was just stupid. I don't know why they thought they could pull that off. Also, LL Cool J's character at the end is clearly dead, blood everywhere. That guy got absolutely destroyed and murdered. And then he gets up and he's walking off. He's on the phone making jokes at the end. And it was just kind of stupid. I thought that was dumb. I was like, dude, no, he should be dead. That aside, I love Halloween H2O. I love the way it brings back Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode in a more believable way. She gets the hell out of Haddonfield. It makes perfect sense. She wouldn't be in Haddonfield anymore. It takes place in California. And it's a sequel to Halloween 2. Perfect. This is perfect. So much better than the David Gordon Green continuation. This continuation makes sense. She has a son now, and he's going to school, but he's trying to be a normal kid and everything, go out, but she's still real protective of him. She's got some of that craziness in her that we saw in 2018, but not nearly as bad. It makes so much more sense. She's still working. She's kind of has a little relationship and everything. But anyway, Michael Myers, of course, comes back. Shit hits the fan. Awesome kills. And then the final act when she chops off his head and the music hits. Absolutely stellar, kick-ass moment. That should be the end. Over. They should have never made Resurrection. That is probably the best ending to the Halloween franchise, even though in my heart there's one I like even better, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But I think the most sensical, logical timeline that makes sense is 1, 2, and H2O. And forget Resurrection. Coming in at number 4 for me, just slightly better, is Halloween 2. And it's better because they didn't make all those dumb mistakes I talked about. Yes, the mask looks a little bit wider because the new actor portraying Michael Myers, maybe they could have done better in picking an actor that's going to make the mask look a little better. Who cares? It's just, that's a nitpick. Nitpick it. I don't know. All good. This movie is just a kick-ass sequel. If you're going to do a sequel to that movie, there's really nowhere to go because it's movies really made to be just one movie. If you're going to do a sequel, I like that we're going to say, look, Laurie Strode's in the hospital now. Where do you think he's going to go? He's going to go to the hospital and wreak havoc. And we'll just have a bunch of freaking killings. And that's what it is. Awesome killings, like the throwing her head down into the hot tub there. It was just, oh man, that was crazy. And a lot of awesome kills in this movie. And then, Laurie Strode running from it at the end. Yeah, Laurie Strode didn't have a lot to do. She's in the hospital. She's messed up, but they still found some excitement and some awesome moments towards the end. Loomis is in this movie. Yes, there's the reveal that she is Michael Myers' sister, that Laurie is, but she never finds out, and it's just not done that well. It should have been a bigger moment. Should have been your I am your father moment from Star Wars. It wasn't close to that. They really dropped the ball there, but the movie is just such a solid. I mean, every time I watch Halloween 78, I watch Halloween 2. Maybe not the same day, but the next day I'm watching Halloween 2. It's just going to happen. It's just a really good horror movie. I mean, it's a little more Friday the 13th-ish. It's a little more just kills and everything, but there's some awesome kills and some awesome horror and some suspense as well. And as you see, Laurie in there trying to get away. She knows Michael's on his way, and it's a fun movie. It's a really cool, awesome movie. Well done. I think a very good follow-up. Not as good as the original, but a very solid follow-up. Which brings us to number 3. Yes, it's this high. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Here's the thing. bro, you put Halloween in so low because it had nothing to do because Michael Myers took a back seat. Well, Michael Myers takes a real back seat in Halloween 3. Exactly. He's not in it at all. They don't try to shove two movies into one when you get one pile of shit. They focused on one story, which is a kick-ass story. It should never have been called Halloween 3. It should have just been called Season of the Witch because the movie is freaking awesome. I love Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And I mean, I don't see any reason to go in depth about it. I have a review on it because honestly, it has nothing to do with Michael Myers. It doesn't really belong in this ranking. It's only in this ranking because they call that Halloween 3. But I love our main character and he's going there kind of following this girl. He's just trying to get some, honestly. But then he finds out this weird thing going on with this factory that's building the masks and everything. And the final scene of this is just amazing. I love the way the movie ends. Perfect. It's just awesome movie. It's just a great horror movie. Is it perfect? It's got a little 80s cheese. It's not perfect. I'm not saying that, but just a really fun movie. And I think it would have been just a cult classic if it had come out when it did. I think I would have probably found out about it and watched it at some point. But I don't know. Maybe I should be thankful they did call it Halloween 3 because maybe I would have never found out about the movie if not. But I think I would have known about this movie. I mean, it's John Carpenter movie. So love Halloween 3. But coming in at number 2 is Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. And it is actually close, very close to number 1. But the reason it didn't quite make it to number 1, first of all, the mask is awful in this movie. I know that there's a logical reason. He just grabbed it from a store, so it's not the same mask, but it's just like white with no features. It's just a really bad mask. They should have done a better job on the mask. And there's some, at the beginning of the movie, some annoying dialogue. And then there's some things here and there that are just not great. Okay. There's some, again, it's not perfect. I just can't put it above a horror classic like what is going to be at number 1. That being said, I love Halloween 4. I love Jamie Lloyd. I love how Danielle Harris, even at that young age, is able to portray that character. She is absolutely awesome. Rachel is an awesome character. And of course, Loomis in this film, awesome as well when he's returning to Haddonfield. And also the early mask when Michael Myers wrapped the bandage around his head. That's cool to start the movie. I like how they did that. They didn't have to, it's like we don't have to have him have that same mask until a little bit later when he gets one. Let's make it make sense a little bit. He comes into town, he takes out the power. Michael Myers is making a little more sense in what he's doing. Like, this dude is smart. He's not just a moron. He actually knows what he's doing here as he's trying to get to his niece here and finish off his bloodline for whatever reason. That's the story that we go with in, since Halloween 2. So it makes sense. We got to stick to the canon. But the final scene of this movie, that, like I was saying earlier, Halloween H2O makes the most sense, but Halloween 4, the way it ends, that's my preferred timeline right there, baby. Halloween 1, Halloween 2, Halloween 4. Yes, with Jamie Lloyd holding that knife at the end and Loomis freaking and screaming out, freaking out. That was absolutely, oh my gosh, so amazing. Every time I see it, it's so awesome. And that should be it. If you're going to continue it, you bring back Jamie Lloyd as the killer and let's make that movie. If you're watching Hollywood, I'm telling you, bring back Danielle Harris and make that horror movie. Y'all Hollywood need it. It's just not you, David Gordon Green, someone who knows what they're doing. Bring back Jamie Lloyd. I love Halloween 4, but let's move on to number 1. And I gotta say, Halloween, the original 1978 movie. There is something about it that I've seen it so many times that sometimes I would rather watch Halloween 4. I'd rather watch Season of the Witch, or I'd rather even watch H2O or something. But this is a horror classic. The suspense in this movie is incredible. Edgy as scene. I'm just always, for the longest time anyway, I'm just scared watching. It's a scary movie. It's a legitimate, like, where's this guy? When's he going to show up? The scenes when he's just standing there. All these great scenes that they copy in the sequels, this is where they came from. This is where they came from. And Jamie Lee Curtis is absolutely awesome in this movie as Laurie Strode. And then you have this awesome final act when the killings start. And yes, this movie does take its time. It's not just a slash fest, which some of the later movies are. And I like Halloween 2 kind of, and I appreciate it for that. But this is a more well-rounded movie with amazing, the music though, everything that the later movies get credit for. Well, they don't get as much credit for it as this movie because this is the movie that it started. This is the movie where that amazing score came from Halloween 1978, the original. It's been reused later and it's still awesome and effective, but this is the movie that gets the credit for that score. And there's not a lot of stupid ass jump scares in this movie. By the way, this movie has some of the great legacy characters we see later, like Lindsay and others as well. All in all, Halloween is an absolute classic. In my opinion, I have to say it is the best in the franchise, even though, yes, I'm not always in the mood for this one, but just talking about the best film and what's been my favorite for so long, I have to stick with the original 1978 Halloween. So there you have it. That's my latest ranking. Put your ranking down below. I know I offend a lot of people. People who love Halloween Ends. I don't know why, but look, I like a lot of crappy movies too. Now, maybe you won't admit it's a crappy movie, but when you take two different ideas and try to smoosh them into one because you got to have this ending and it has nothing to do with the character that's been built up the entire time, I don't know how that can be called a good ending when you have a Corey Cunningham movie and then in the end it's a Myers versus Strode out of nowhere. I don't know how you call that a good movie, not to mention all of the other terrible aspects of that movie that we talk about. But I mean, hey, you like what you like, and if you liked it, I appreciate that. But I think it's terrible, and so that's why I have it as low as I do. But hey, take some solace in knowing it's not as bad, in my opinion, as Halloween Resurrection, the shittiest of the shit. You guys have a great day. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button for more, and we'll talk to y'all next time. And happy Halloween.